Okay, so my homegirl reached out to me and asked if I could make her husband a bootleg t-shirt. Y'all know I said I could. So I want to shout out to my homegirl India. She is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to show you the different types of designs that I created for her and why I created different ones. So this one will be great for sublimation, and I'm going to explain it in a second, okay? This one, we could possibly get away with DTF, and I'm going to explain all the reasons why, okay? This one will be a great, easy DTF. This one will probably be best sublimation, but we might be able to get away with DTF. I'm explaining the reasons why. So I just gave her some options, and then I'm going to recreate just one of these, okay? So I want you to pause. You could scroll over them and pause and look at them so you can see which one is your favorite. It's number 1 through 5. Comment below which one is your favorite. But I am going to recreate this one, okay? I'm going to recreate page number 2, and I'm going to explain why. Now, the first one I did was page number 1, and this one would have been my selection for sublimation. The reason why is because of these little lightning bolts, okay? And that's why I have it with a white background, because the lightning bolts would look great with sublimation versus DTF. I have a whole video on the correct way to design in Canva specifically for DTF prints, okay? But we could go with all of the lightning bolts and all the things and all that stuff for specifically sublimation. When we're doing DTF, we want it to be nice and clean. You see how her name right here is outlined. You see how the smoky type stuff in the back is defined. It's not gradient. It's not faded. It's not hard for the ink to catch. When you do DTF, you want to make sure that it's more solid versus a lot of fades and different things like that. Smooth edges, that's what you have to do for DTF. When you're doing DTF, it doesn't do great with the smoke and the lightning bolts and that gray area, etc. So we're going to go ahead and recreate this one. Y'all can tell me which one y'all like. It's multiple ways it's going to cut. Y'all know that. So it's okay if you don't like this particular one, but I'm just going to show you how you can create this all inside of Canva. So I'm going to go to the first page of Canva. And you see it was other photos and pictures, but all of them wouldn't work. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go to custom size, and I'm going to select 3000 by 3000 pixels. You want to make sure that your designing area is large, and when you're downloading it with the most pixels so that the photos can be as crisp as possible. And you also want to make sure that you're getting crisp photos to begin with, okay? So we're going to start in our uploads. She provided me photos that were her and her husband's favorites. And then I chose the best ones based on the quality of the photos, how easy it was to design. And some of these were beautiful, but her head was like cut off. So we can't do anything with that. And this one was beautiful too, but it's not a full photo, okay? So take all of these things into consideration when you are designing, especially if you're designing for someone else, okay? So, disclaimer, it may not be 100% the exact same way because it's hard to exactly duplicate. But what I did was I opened up another tab so that I could easily look at what I'm redesigning, and it could be right there with me. Okay, so that's what I personally do. I just make a copy of it or start fresh or start over so that I could just take that tab and go back and forth. So the first thing I did, sorry India if you're watching this, is I grabbed the one she said was her husband's favorite photos because I mean, he's the one that's going to be looking at these photos, right? So I grabbed the photos that she said was her husband's favorite photos of her, and then I chose the one she liked the best. Sorry, girlfriend, but not your wins on this one. So what I did was I grabbed the photo, I went to BG Remover. Everything I'm doing is Canva Pro. I just want you to know that. And it's so easy to click background remover. And then what I did was, once I removed the background, I made sure that the purple edges were as close as possible to her so that we can utilize the most space. Now, it's two ways you could do this. You can use it on the color shirt that she'll be wearing or he'll be wearing. So we decided either a white shirt or a gray shirt. So we can start off with those colors, or we can start off with white. We're going to just start off with the gray, just so everybody, you can see it, okay? Then we're going to pull the next photo. We're going to remove the background. And then for this one, I wanted to remove some of that, okay? This one, oh my goodness, my friend, is so beautiful. So what we do here is, this is going to go in the back. This is a strong photo. It can stand within itself. It's really the bomb. We're going to put that photo right there. We're going to put this one in the middle because the white just pops out, and a lot of her clothes were black. So the center is going to be with the white outfit. These are things that I do with designing, and I think that you should keep them in mind as well. So it's kind of going to be the white is the center, and then all around it, most of her outfits were darker shades or black. This one is a little bit light, and I think it's one more that's a little bit light, right? But just so you know what I'm doing, I'm having the white center as a focus, okay? I'm going to go to background remover. And these are just things that I learned with editing that kind of makes it easier for me to pick the colors, etc. Like, she allowed me what colors to pick, and I'm like, this orange is popping on her skin. So I'm like, I'm going to use the fonts that are orange to brighten up her skin, to match her skin tone, and then to bring some color to all of that black, okay? These are just things that as a designer, I'm thinking about. I'm going to put this one in the back, and this works very well. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to go to position, we're going to go to arrange, and we're going to put to back. This works really good because her head is tilted on this one. Her head is straight on here and it's tilted here. So this kind of fits like a puzzle. Okay, her right here, she's facing this way, and I don't want to flip because it's going to change what she has. You possibly could if things weren't, you could flip if you want, but I'm not going to flip her, okay? I'm going to go back to my original design. We have 4 of the photos. Now we're going to round these photos out, and you see how the outlines are black and then the inside are kind of color pop. That was done intentionally. Everything I do is intentional, okay? So I'm sorry if it was a little dark. I had to lighten my screen up. I'm not sure if you guys can tell the difference, but now you can. So look, that looks completely different now. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to her uploads, and we're going to go ahead and add the last 3 photos. Once we bring these photos in, we're going to remove those backgrounds. Okay, this is going to be on the edge, and it works so good. You want to make sure you are removing that dead space, because I can't click the photo behind her if this dead space where that photo was is still there, okay? So these are things that are important. Y'all know I'm extra, but this is just really important with designing, because now I can grab this photo if I wanted to. Before, I could not do it because of that space that was there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and round this out. This is a great example here because you see her arm is cut off there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to once again remove that extra space. And let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that arm like it's going into her leg. And it's both black. So you see that? Because I can't put her in front of her, because it'll cover up her face. Look what happens. It'll cover her face with her purse. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make it look like her arm right there is going into her leg. Because They really wanted to use that photo, so we want to make sure that we're playing around with it, right? We're going to remove the last background of the photo, and these are just tips that you should be thinking about when you're designing, how you can make things look cohesive, how you can make them look beautiful, etc. Now, what I did for this one, I made this, I think, a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to bring this one position to the front, okay? And I curved her, I tilted her a little bit. So we're tilting. So what we're doing is we're kind of rounding the photos out, okay? Let's make sure that's, yep, almost perfect to what I did before. Love it. I'm just make this a little smaller, like how I did there. They could be smaller or larger, both of them work. I want her to be seen, but I want it to look cohesive, okay? That looks darn good. It almost looks perfect, almost. I also selected this photo and I went to edit and I went to adjust and then I brighten it up and then I did the shadows so that that one can look like how the other ones look. You see that difference? How the difference that makes? Okay, the other ones I didn't necessarily have to do that. We could try this one too, but I don't remember doing it, but we could look and see if I did or not. Okay, just so they could all look cohesive. Popping. All right, so now we have those photos, and what we could do is I'm going to select all and I'm going to group it. Okay, these are the photos. And that looks good right there. But what we're going to do is we are going to now add the font. I'm going to go to apps and I'm going to type. It actually comes up, type gradient, okay? Type gradient comes up and I'm going to select type gradient. Once I do that, I'm going to take this away. So let me show you. This is where the word is going to show. You can reset the position. You can change what text goes here. You can change the fonts. You can align it. You can change the line height if it's multiple lines. You can change the gradient colors. And then you can add it to the design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type her name in all capital letters. You can do it in capital and lowercase letters, but I did all caps. Okay. The original font I used was Anton because that auto selected. So this one is Anton. Okay. That's how that looks. But she wanted a different type of font. She specifically showed me some fonts and we're still working on it, but she wanted a different type of font. So look at all these beautiful fonts that you could play around and that you can use, okay? But the font that I used was Big Shot 1, which is perfect for her because if you from Detroit, you know she's a big boss, her and her husband, right? So that worked out great because it matched, right? So this is the font I'm going to use. Once you highlight the font, you press the arrow to go back, okay? And then look what happens. It shows you the fonts. Now, what you want to do, these gradient colors, this is showing you the different colors. If you look, the first color is that turquoise, the second color is that darker blue, and then it's the purple. Okay, if you want, this is just 3 gradients. If you want multiple gradients, you can add multiple gradients. So now look, it's this pink or fuchsia color is now there. You can add another one. And now you have several ones. If you do not like it, you can delete them. I am just going to use 3. Okay. The photo that she showed me, they just had 3 simple colors, gradients. Okay. I am going to select the middle one first. And I am not going to go all the way and do white. I am going to kind of make it a little bit gray. Okay, it's going to be some white, but it's going to be a little gray so that we can see that color. Okay, so if I were to do sublimation, it could still be seen, but you could always go all the way white. I want to go gray so you could still kind of see her name. Okay, this is all a personal preference to you and how you want to design. We're doing an orange. Okay, so we have that gray for that. Now for the beginning of her color, we want to go to an orange. We want a kind of a burnt orangey. You could play around with it. Right here, it shows you the specific hex codes. We're just going to go and make it this color orange, the FF9B26. I'm simply going to Command C copy. I'm going to select this circle here. I already copied it. I'm going to select that color and paste it so it could be the same color. I did not have to make it the same color. I could have done a gradient, changed it completely to that. You get, I mean, it could be however you want it to go. But I want it to be the exact same because, like I said, she specifically gave me a photo and I'm trying to make it how she wants hers to be. You could play around with the person and see if they want something different, or yourself if you're making it for you. Now, once I like it like that, I am going to add to design. Oh, we deleted her name. Let's go back. I didn't even recognize that. It's okay. I'm happy that we did that here. We're going to delete it. Okay, so if you make a mistake and delete it, look what happened. Just go back, go to undo, and if you select it, then you can make those changes. So we're going to add her IA, and then we're going to update element. You see how cool that was? Super cool. Now we can leave it like this, but if you want to add an outline like the one that she told me, that she showed me, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to take this, add another page, right? And I'm going to remove that background. I'm going to take this image and I could Command C and copy it, or I could drag it to the second page. I'm going to drag this to the second page. And then I'm going to make sure it's in the center. I'm going to go to share, download, transparent background, and I'm going to download this second font as a PNG with the transparent background. And I'm doing that because once it loads back into Canva, I'm literally just taking it and dragging it and dropping it. Once it loads back into Canva, I'm going to remove that extra space. They're going to think of this as a PNG. And what that means is now the PNG is editable. Okay. So I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to go down to effects. We're going to go to shadow. We're going to go to outline. And when you scroll down, you can change the size of the outline. You can also change the intensity of the outline. We're going to keep it at 100 and we're going to use this size. Once we do that, I am now going to Command C copy because I'm on a Mac. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to Command V and paste it. And now I'm going to make it larger. She specifically told me she wanted her name large. After she saw how I originally did it here, she wanted to change the font and she wanted it larger. Okay. So this is all one group. So I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to take the position, bring it to the front. And then if I want, you can have her face kind of over it. She did not want that. So we're going to just put it down here. Close enough, but not overlapping her name. Okay, so now this looks really good. We're going to make it a little bit larger. We're going to make sure that we're centering everything. And now we're going to go to those little extras. So what I did for the extras is I went ahead and went to elements. And then for elements, I wanted to make sure that the smoke that I used was not a lot of gradient in the smoke, which is funny, right? So I use this one. I'm not going to search it here. I'm just going to provide you with the details. This is acrylic colors in water, ink blot, abstract background. Okay. This is a free for Canva Pro element. I do have Canva Pro. It shows you the keywords that you can look for. And mine, I have it starred. You yourself can look for paint. You can look for gradients. You can look for all types of things. I'm going to show you. Like if you want a paint splash, you can look for paint splash. You could look for smoke. Okay. But with this smoke, it kind of fades. That will look good for sublimation, but not for DTF, okay? So I'm just giving you those options. Now, the next thing I did was I saw this and I'm like, okay, this blue and pink is not catching the vibes, right? So I selected it. I went to edit and then we went to our lovely duotone. Duotone works so great for elements where you cannot change the color. You guys know up here, if this was changeable, a changeable element, there would be a, I believe it's a circle with the color so that you can change it. This does not provide that. So what you have to do is go to duotones and then we have to play around with it. We could go to amber, pomelo. We could go to all these other colors. I'm going to go to amber. Then look what happens here. It provides highlights as well as shadows and intensity. So we can change that. We could change these shadows to darker. It completely changes everything. I'm going to go back to its original one, because that's what I like. And then what we're going to do is we are now going to take it and make it larger. And then I am going to, because I'm providing an outline. Remember when I was doing her photos, it's kind of outlining it. So I'm going to outline her still here. And then you know what else I'm going to do? Let's make this smaller. I am going to make it a little smaller, and then guess what? I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to flip it vertical. So now you see how it's a complete blob, right? And so I'm going to select the top as well as the bottom image. And if you want to grab it another way, you could go to position and we could go to layers. And look at that. We can select both of those images. And I could do one or two things. I could drag them all the way to the back, or I could go ahead and go to arrange and actually click to back. There's multiple ways to do something. You could do it in layers or you could go to arrange, okay? And here also shows you the width and the height of the image. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to group that. And then I'm going to make it a little smaller so that I can make sure everything is on this page, okay? We could also play around with it again. We can ungroup it, and then I can individually make those layers larger. So let's say I literally went to layers. I selected the heart that's facing down. Then I can make that one wider if I want. And then I can face the one that's facing upward and make it wider if I want. Completely up to me or up to you and how you want to design. I could also bring the bottom one up a little bit, right? Because look, you want to make sure it's actually still on the page. You don't want it to be cut off. So I could select that and just bring it up some. And I think that works very well. I'm going to make that image a little smaller. Now that looks great. I'm going to go back and select, go to position, go to layers. And I'm going to select these two layers. I'm going to make them smaller together. And then I'm going to group them again. Okay. Now, So far, this actually looks good. She might like it like this, but let's say she doesn't want these hard lines down here. I'm going to go to elements and I'm going to go to blur. And I know you guys, if you're not new here, you've seen me use this blur effect before multiple times. It's a pro feature. I'm going to select blur. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to, yep, it's a circle. I'm going to change that gray blur to look what I could do. I can pull directly from the fonts that we use. I could also change and play with it here, and I could grab the exact hex code. So it's multiple ways to do something. And let's say we just want to play around with this, duplicate it so it won't be so harsh. And I actually think I want to make her a little smaller. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to take my little blurs and bring those up. And then I also want to make a couple of them smaller so I can change the size of the blurs. And I could also change some of the colors if I want them a little bit darker, right? Because what we're doing is we're kind of making it seem like she's blending in with the background. So you could duplicate and change the size as much as possible. You can zoom in at the bottom to make sure that you're getting what you like. And if it's too wide or too big, you can go ahead and change that. Okay, these things are completely up to you and your editing preference, and then the person who's purchasing it. Completely up to you guys and what you like, what you feel comfortable with. Okay, we're fixing these hard edges so that it can be nice and smooth. And just place them where you want them to go. I think that looks amazing. We're now going to go ahead and zoom out. And then this could be done, or let's say if you're using it for sublimation, or we're going to go to lightning bolt. Okay. And then we could play around with the lightning bolts. Oh, that look fire. Position, arrange, backward, 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 backward. Position, backward. All right, forward. Oh, look at that up under her name. We could duplicate it. We can flip it vertically. You can do duotones with this. You could do, and we're going to flip it horizontal too. You could do duotones with this. You can do different colors because they have different colors. You could play around with it. You see I had a black one before. You could do all types of things, okay? Make sure the position is where you want it to be. I'm going to take this away, but I'm just showing y'all what you can do. Oh, that adds a pop to it. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna show her that one too. Cause look at that. Oh, that looks so good. But like I said, we could take those away. We could do different colors. You can add all types of things that you like and that you want. But I was just giving you guys an idea of what you can do. Okay, I'm going to go to layers and we're going to select this one and delete it. But you guys, look how beautiful that looks. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, you could play with all types of things. You can add on here, paint, like I said, more lightning bolts, just all types of stuff. It could be really, really dope. You can do the lightning in between her name. You could put it in the back. You could do all types of things. I'm going to show you guys again. This was the very first one that I made for her. You see these lightning bolts were black. And then I played around with it. Then I took all the extra away if she wanted it plain. I just gave her options. And then I went and even grabbed these sparkles and put them in between the name, because actually the photo she showed me had sparkles. And then I had the sparkles with the background. So many options that you can do, but I wanted to give you more than one way. Like I said, you can look at these and pause and take a closer look at them, but different options for you to do. Okay, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Shout out to India. Once she decides which one that she wants, if she decides she still wants it, because she needs it by a certain day. So if we can't get it by the day, she may change her mind. But I'm happy she asked me to do this because it turned out super cute. And yeah. So if she wants me to make it, I will show you guys how I made it. But until then, thanks y'all. Love y'all. Bye.